Does everything have a bright side to it? Of course. Doesn't always outweigh the negatives, but everything has a bright side to it. This makes happiness a choice. And here we say that the discipline of being happy is the ultimate discipline. With that said, welcome to the Ultimate Discipline Podcast, where we meet with people who are practitioners of this exact discipline, and we hear their cool stories of cultivating happiness through challenges in their life. I am your host, Sean Greenspan. Let's get to it.
What's up, boys? How you guys doing today?
Quite
Good to
righteous.
be here, dude. Doing great.
Where are you guys calling in from? Jensen?
I'm down in an undisclosed location in Michoacan, Mexico. I'm not going to blow this spot up.
Undisclosed. I love it. To my millions of fans, yeah.
Yeah. No, but yeah, it's a little surf village down here. It's nice. We actually got like this huge rainstorm came through last night and blew out all the electricity. So I just got back online like an hour ago, which is nice. Made it in time for the call.
Right in time. And Nikolai, where are you at?
I'm in Boise, Idaho. I'm currently getting scorched on my balcony. It's wonderful. Beautiful day.
Nice. I'm just a couple 100 miles north of you where it's like a little less scorching, but
Still looks nice out, man.
Oh yeah. Yo, you guys are always bouncing around. I definitely want to hear about that, but I guess that's the flexibility of running your own company. Do you mind giving a little story about Ombraz, maybe how it got started? I think, Jensen, that's kind of your story, eh?
Yeah. For everyone listening, I don't know if they know much about Ombraz, but it's basically like sunglasses that don't have arms and instead were replaced with a adjustable cord. We launched, when was that, Nikolai? 2018. We launched on Indiegogo, raised like $250,000 in a month through crowdfunding, and since then have won like a ton of outdoor awards in the industry: Backpacker Magazine's Gear Editor's Choice, Outside Gear of the Year, Pop-In Mechanics Gear of the Year, Wired Gear of the Year, and basically just because it's a really good product. It's an awesome product and people love it. The story for like armless sunglasses actually came. I was backpacking in India. I was on this camel safari in the Thar Desert, and someone sat on my sunglasses and the sidearms broke off. This was in 2012, and I tied a piece of twine around the broken hinges and wrapped the twine around the back of my head, and they actually just worked better than the sunglasses that I had with arms. And so I replaced the twine with a leather cord and wore that same pair for the next 5 years through college. Coming from a guy who loses his wallet once a week, that was a big deal. And it was just because they were more practical. They're more practical and more functional for me. And I think at the end of the day, like, that's what's really important to people, is that practicality and functionality factor in a piece of gear and it's something that you need. And so, yeah, it's just like, it's really resonated with people. Nikolai and I went to college together, and Nikolai was obsessed with them as well. He would like try and steal them from me in parties and whatnot when he'd see me out, and I'd have to track him down and get my armless pair back. And then we teamed up and kind of brought it to life a few years after we graduated, and then we're having a ton of fun doing it.
Dude, that's awesome. It's I like that you say, from someone that lost his wallet once a week. I can resonate with that for sure. I think I used to just, you're much more innovative than me. I would just break or lose every pair of shades I had. So my solution was just buy 99-cent pair from the fucking gas station instead of invent armless sunglasses. But I like that idea better.
Yeah, actually, like, fun quick fact, the 99-cent sunglasses are actually like worse for your eyes than not wearing sunglasses at all, because they don't actually have that UV protection, and so like the lenses will like shade your eyes, so your pupils will dilate to let in more light, and they're actually then just letting in those harmful rays through the lenses. So for everyone out there who does that, not recommended. Also the phone wallet saves you in that regard as well, just if you lose your wallet.
But you didn't invent that one. No, I'm kidding.
I didn't invent that, just utilizing it.
Nah, that's a cool story. And Nikolai, tell me like where like Ombraz is at now, man.
Man, well, we've come a long way since we've launched. I think like Right. So we launched with one frame style, and now we have 5 frame styles. And the company's grown to we now have like 5 full-time employees, including Jensen and myself, 6 full-time employees, and just like a great team that we've built around us. Like we've just focused on like getting the best people, and we've been super fortunate to get connected with people, like really talented people, mostly through like mentors and just a group of really talented like support that like we have around us. And that's, I think, like been a huge key to our success, is just like, like using the resources around us, like just connecting with people, asking for help, asking questions, and just like always being like curious and trying to be a sponge for knowledge. So thanks everybody who's helped us thus far, if you're listening.
Yeah, dude, that's dope. I think when I met you guys, it was you guys are the only full time employees, so that's definitely big time growth for you guys. I respect that. Um,
Yeah,
did
it's
you
been a
guys?
super interesting just like transition from like being like owners operators and like doing like the founders grind, which we're doing still a lot of that, and like now to like having employees and going learning to manage and like learning to like build a team and thinking about that dynamic. It's like a completely different experience.
Yeah, yeah, and it probably affects like your day to day a lot. Like I would guess that one of the goals is to remove yourself from like the extremely time consuming, more urgent day to day things so you guys can have a little more flexibility, but also room to like operate. And like, if you guys want to take a 4 hour call about like the strategy for next quarter, you feel like you have the airspace to do that versus like, shit, I got to get, this shipment out, this next social media post out, got to check on this, like all that.
Yeah, it never stops. It like keeps really overwhelming, like how much stuff has been on Jensen and my plate over the last few years, and um and like having the opportunity to like get some focus back and some bandwidth back, like not only to like focus on like big issues for the business, but also to just like stay stimulated in life and just like stay enjoying life, um, and like pursue other hobbies is like a really cool prospect. It's a really cool idea.
Now we're talking about some good stuff, man. Getting that balance in life because, well, dude, I'll tell you. I had a friend out because I wanna dive into like your story for starting the company, but I have a really good buddy. I actually had him on the podcast that he was working for Deloitte as an accountant, and he was like, I want to replace my income and become an entrepreneur, and working out like one of the large accounting firms in the country, working 90 hours a week. I was like, Michael, you're a smart guy. If you work 90 hours a week to start a company, I hope you can
Yeah.
make enough money
Yeah.
to survive. The goal is can you do that in 40 or less hours per week, right? Like um,
Yeah.
and that really like I think that really opened up his eyes because he realized one like of like people spend so much time working for others, and it's great. I mean, like not everyone wants or should be an entrepreneur, but being able to have kind of like both options, I would say, and like just really really understanding that like being an entrepreneur, like it does allow you to like play with that schedule a bit. What do you guys like to do in your free time? What are you trying to create time for to get that balance?
Nah, Nikolai, you go first, man.
Man, I don't know. I've been thinking about this a good amount because I just had a few life transitions. So I've been like kind of in a goal setting mode, and I'm about to go just to like just south of the border, whether it's Central or South America. And my whole goal for like the next like 6 months to a year is just like get better, learn Spanish, get better at surfing, and just be like on the move. I want to also just like explore like on a personal side, just explore like just get better at drawing, like do some kind of like get back into some kind of creative thing that like has nothing to do with work, and like not make it about work, because like for the last like 3 4 years, like starting a business, it takes a lot of energy, and like you kind of see things like the good thing is like we have our company, like it coincides with our lifestyle like really well, so like it's not like work doesn't feel like work most of the time, but still like it does take up a lot of time, and it's been really nice to just focus on like those personal goals again. But other
Yeah,
than that, I just want to like travel and like have more like do stuff I've never done before. I think like there's stuff that I want to get better at that I've like done for a long time, and like stuff that I just want to like try and like try more things, like more new experiences.
Yeah, dude, I love that. Painting and drawing, that was on my goals for this year. So I bought a watercolor set, and I've been watercoloring, dude. Like I just watercolored this lake the other night, and it looks like a 2-year-old did it, but I had so
Yeah.
much fun doing it, man. I lit a big bonfire and just drew for like an hour last night, and like I don't like the. I mean, I don't know how to describe besides like my nervous system just felt relaxed afterwards.
Yeah.
How did you kind of like figure out that drawing and painting was where you wanted to channel some of that like artistic expression?
So it's funny. I actually, what I'm trying to work on the most is actually my writing. I love storytelling. I love documenting things. I love writing. So I have a journal, and then I'm writing a blog. And actually, the blogs that I'm writing are kind of like stories for a book that I'm looking to write. The reason I wanted to get away from that, just something else, was even the like journaling. That was like what writing is either writing on a notebook or typing on a computer, and that's what I do with a lot of my time. So like, yeah, that's what like a skill I'm trying to progress. The watercolor, like it's really interesting. I'm doing it with my girlfriend. She enjoys like going to YouTube videos and like figuring out how to get better shading or whatever. I'm like not trying to get better at it necessarily. I'm literally just like, oh, like that looks cool. And like, and my whole goal is just take every drawing to the finish. So never stop a drawing, because like now I'm like judging myself for it being good. I've never even learned to draw. I don't care if I'm good. So it's like, why would I like judge myself? So yeah, I kind of just like randomly just picked it up because it's different, I guess.
I love that. Yeah, dude, it's like such a calming thing to do. And I think like once you like surrender to like thinking you need to get good and actually be make a presentable drawing, it just becomes like yeah, just like meditative.
It's like any flow state, right? You like start like, yeah, once you like let go of like actually live in the moment and stop caring about like any kind of judgment or trying to accomplish whatever it is, it's just like that's when the lines start coming together.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's the same for like most things I do though. Most things I'm like hold myself to a pretty high caliber and judge myself really hard, and I'm not okay until it's like I'm actually like good at it.
Dude, I mean,
But there's a balance.
I feel you. I mean, for something that's so I just love running and hiking in the mountains. Like that just like I just enjoy the shit out of that. And
Yeah.
I started doing ultra marathons last year, and that kind of progressed, and this year I have my first 100 miler in 2 months. And it's funny, like I want to respect the challenge because I've never gone that far, and it's very very far, and like you need to be prepared and educated. But like I'm not in it to like win any race or even get better at a time. Like I'm literally in it because my favorite thing to do on this planet is to go out on a sunny day, put sunglasses on, rip my shirt off, and run in the mountains. That's what I like to do. So like it's one of those weird balances where like Jensen, I feel like I'm always trying to like push, and I'm like, how can I like optimize like I feel bad. My buddy bought me this book about like training for it, and like I don't really want to read it because like I don't want to be too in my head about it. Like I just want to go run, man, and chill. Like that's like my own flow state.
Yeah, that's great. I respect that a lot.
I see you smiling.
I'm,
You're not a
I'm
runner, are you?
no, I am, dude. I love running.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I do. I played soccer my whole life, so like that was like kind of how I ran though. And then like my mom, whenever she sees that I'm like frustrated, even still, she'll be like, "When's the last time you went for a run?" Because like that also just like helps you so much. Like it could just like it's just I don't know. There's something about it that just I mean it's obviously like chemicals in your brain that are fired off when you run, but like it does really help, just like alleviate a lot of stress and tension to just do it. And you have so much time by yourself when you're running to just like think and reflect and like
Mm,
play over solutions in your head or whatever you're trying to do. You just like set yourself up time to have that, which you don't normally do otherwise. It's not like you're
yeah,
like picking up your phone and scrolling Instagram while you're running 45 minutes to an hour. You'll get hit by a car.
yeah. That alone time's key. Mountains. ideally you have no phone service, so even
Hmm.
if someone wants to reach you, good. But yeah, and you kind of just like, it's funny. I used to run with like intention, like I'd go out and be like, hey, I'm gonna think about this or whatever. But you could just let your subconscious work, and you'll have like epiphanies out there. Like I'm sure, like
Oh
you
yeah,
guys have had just epiphanies surfing or whatever.
yeah. It's the same thing exactly. I even think surfing more so, which I didn't really realize. Started surfing, like how much time you have just sitting there, like thinking.
Yeah, waiting for a
It's
wave.
especially when it's not like pumping and you're not worried about dying.
For sure. I think the original question, it was kind of about like, you guys are obviously focused on creating more time for yourselves, and Nikolai was talking about what he like why that even matters, like what he's trying to do at that time. Jensen, what are you trying to focus on in your free time? That's always an interesting question.
It is an interesting question. I think like honestly, like you're chasing like ultimately, I think things that make you happy, right? And what makes me happy is like yeah, improving and learning, um, seeing new places, meeting new people, creating new relationships with women is something I love to do. Learning, like getting better at surfing, being in the mountains, like yeah, like snowboarding is just like my favorite thing in the world. Touring is my favorite thing because it's just like you're going on a walk and a hike, you're getting an exercise, and then instead of busting your knees walking down a hill, you're like in powder that's untouched that you wouldn't otherwise ever have access to. So yeah, I think that like those yeah. But yeah, just new experiences, being seeing new places. Like that's the great thing about touring is like you're always exploring new zones. Surfing, you're always like learning about a new wave, and like traveling, you're always like eating new food or meeting someone new, exploring a new city, and those things are what make me happy. And yeah, I think yeah, it's just important to like know what makes you happy and be able to kind of like focus on those things.
For sure. I was gonna say it's good that you've like identified them, and you seem like someone that's like it comes natural to. But I think a lot of people like don't know what they want. I think for sure, like, and might not even a question I always used like to ask people when I haven't talked to them in a while. I'm like, what's got you stoked lately? Just like what's happening in your life versus just like how are you?
Yeah, exactly.
And
Like one of my favorite questions I've been asking people that I was like, talking to new people or talking to people I haven't seen in a bit that like I might have like catching up with is just like what makes you happy, like, and then like from there you kind of understand where their energy is like focused on and where they're actually like feel the most themselves, and you get to learn about a lot about a person from that, understand a lot about a person from that.
definitely, definitely. I want to talk about touring for a second
Oh yeah,
because
let's do it.
there's something. It's funny.
It's
I was
terrible,
like,
no one should do it.
yeah, yeah. You don't want to get people out there. I just
Yeah.
I just like bought a new like backcountry setup because I just realized that that's like I know most people think like skiing downhill is like what it's all about. So why would anyone want to tour? But like there's something about I mean, I even like snowshoeing, which is like dorky, but there's something
Yeah,
about
yeah.
being out in the powder where it's just like there's like an unbelievable stillness to it. It's hard to explain. Like, you know what I mean?
For
Like
sure.
just like seeing untouched powder, and it's like I don't know. I feel like when I'm out there, it's like the world's like frozen, like
Literally,
figuratively.
figuratively and figuratively. Yeah, it's also quite dangerous, especially if you're like getting into like more gnarly shit. So you're like, it's that also you're just like hyper aware, and you have to be super super cautious and intelligent about like what you're doing and why you're there, which I think is also a really cool aspect of it all.
Yeah, like the whole study of avalanches and conditions and weather systems and like mountains and stuff is really like a cool aspect of touring and of like just backcountry anything. It gives you like another thing to focus on other than just like the line or just like the having like a run or like you know having beers on the mountain, that kind of thing.
What's what is the draw to that? Because I totally feel you. Like that's one of the cool things about these longer runs is like at 100 miles, like you better be dialed in on your nutrition and your hydration, and like same shit. Like like this one that I'm doing is in December in the mountains. Like you better know how to stay warm and whatever. There it like I don't know what it is. Is it? Do you guys think it's just like it adds like it like forces you to be more aware, or like what is it that like the little bit of danger like just like ramps things up a little?
Well, I think it's that, but also like you said, the stillness, like getting out of service, like getting like you have that time with yourself and you're like hiking up and like you're like climbing and your heart rate's up and you're just like you said, like with anything, you get into this flow and you have these like wonderful moments, and like I feel like it's just all of these experiences we like pursue. I think we're probably trying to pursue those kinds of like flows and moments and like epiphanies that we have. And like the more and more you have it with a certain thing, the more you want to do that certain thing and pursue it, because it's just like it's just fulfilling you.
I think there's also like, different personalities pursue different things. And I think like, some personalities just are more drawn towards like invigorating danger that like pumps your adrenaline and pumps your endorphins and gets you like it's almost like a drug in itself. And it's like with surfing or with like doing something gnarly up in the mountains, like it just comes with that, it comes with the territory. And I think
Yeah,
that's also the thing that I love about it.
it
Mm-hmm.
is a drug, dude. It is a drug. It's the best type. Even
Yeah.
like meditating, breathe, like doing breath work, like that's a drug too, man.
Oh, for sure. I'd love to do more of that. It's hard. It takes a lot of like, you have to be really like determined and like disciplined to like
Yeah.
to devote the time to those kind of things. That like it's so easy to be like, I want to do that, I want to do this, and like it's so impressive. I'm so impressed by the people who actually set up the time to like, learn about the proper stretching and like the proper like techniques to like help your joints and muscles and like set yourself up for success and longevity. And like that takes like much more like in-depth thinking than like the short term just like instant gratification, which
Of doing it. Yeah.
doing it, yeah.
I really I want to study and learn a little more about people's motivators, because I think like what comes easy to someone doesn't come easy to like the other person, right? Like, you know, for me, I look at I look at some things that I'm like proud of, but they just come like so easy to me. And then other things I'm trying to do, and like no matter how hard, like for me, like I've like breath work and meditation, you hear everyone talk about the importance of it. Maybe it's the instant gratification that like when I do my breath work, it's the first thing I do every morning for 4 or 5 years now. Like I get a immediate sensation from it that like feels good. Plus, I think it helps like in the long run. And I think the fact that I don't really get that from meditation, like I try to meditate, but I've tried alarms. I've tried to do it first thing in the morning. I've tried everything. Like the habit doesn't stick. At least hasn't stuck. And like it's just weird, right? Like you see people that are really good and consistent about putting content out. Like what makes them, you know, good at that and locked in and focused on that versus like other people? I don't know. You know.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'd love to figure that out.
Yeah. Figure that out.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that.
For me, like just like feeling good is a big driver.
Yeah.
So like whether that's like being in shape and mobile and like just being able to do like whatever I want to do, not having limitations essentially is nice. And that I think is nice like both physically as well as like in our like work life and the life that we're building for ourselves, is like, like I worked in investment banking and I worked at Amazon for like a total of 4 years, and it was just like such like I knew right away that it was like such like counter to like what my like ideals were as a human and like the way I was trying to live my life. And like that just plays like goes hand in hand with like the way I'm trying to like set everything up, is just like fewer limitations, like more freedom, more just like do making more ability to like pivot and make decisions the way I want to make them, and like have just like ultimate flexibility. And I think that's like, we've built Ombras as a remote business for a reason, partially for that reason. And like, cause it allows not only us, but our employees to like pursue their own personal, like ambitions um, and like have that opportunity at least.
Oh yeah, man. That's really good like intuition that you can go off feel. Like trying to like just like feel good. Um I think a lot of times we complicate things away from like feeling like I totally believe that we have like if you just follow your gut, like you'll know what's good.
Yeah.
Um,
Usually when you're making a bad decision, there's something in the back of your head at that moment telling you this could be a bad decision. And like when it goes wrong, sometimes it doesn't go wrong, but sometimes it goes wrong. And like when it goes wrong, you're like, well, I kind of knew that was like, could have, I knew the risk I was taking. I knew the line I was walking.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
Listening to that voice is really important, and that's like one thing that I've been like trying to like just do more is like, yeah, like trust the instincts, trust the gut, listen to yourself. We all like make mistakes, like even in business where you're like I knew I saw that coming and I should have said something and I should have done something, and like that applies like across the board to life too, but trusting that instinct.
I will say that there's no worse feeling than when you get the gut feel, you don't go with it, and shit goes wrong,
Um,
and you're just like,
Yeah.
hindsight's 2020, and you're just like, I don't know. I get the urge to like overanalyze things versus just go with the gut sometimes, and you're just like, damn, just like let it rock.
yeah, it's wild. It's almost like, yeah, it's like a sixth sense. You just gotta, and the more you trust it, the more you start trusting it, and the more you like develop it almost.
For sure. That's a really good point. That like, maybe there's like I always look for ways to turn like, ideas like that into like actionables, and maybe there's like a way to like start testing that gut feel, if you will, on like smaller scales. You know what I'm saying? And actually just like, like start to build that muscle, right?
Yeah,
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 it's
that's a
it's
cool point.
if you're gonna take it a step further, it'd be interesting to like write it down and like write down what your gut feelings were when you went with them and when you didn't, because it's so easy to forget them, and like they just like you just continue living your life and you don't really realize what decisions were made on gut feelings and what weren't. But it'd be nice to like it'd be really interesting to be able to go back and be like, all right, this was like a time when I didn't listen to my gut and this was the outcome. Because yeah, I
Yeah.
think that'd be an incredible little exercise. And
That would be a really cool
yeah,
experiment. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because like you don't like label it. You know what I mean? You don't always label like, oh yeah, like I had a gut feeling and like went with it. Damn, being able
Yeah,
to, that would be
because
wild.
I think you make like 35,000 decisions a day or something.
Oh
But
my god.
so it'd have to be like like very very like pinpointed and in like relevant things that you're like actually um, making note of, because you'd be like, all right, gut wanted coffee for breakfast, shouldn't have had coffee, gave me diarrhea. Like that's not what I'm talking about, but like those like bigger
More
picture.
slightly complex decision.
Yeah, yeah, slightly more complex decisions for sure.
Just slightly. That's
Should
funny.
not have eaten that street food.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a complex one.
The
Yeah.
classic.
Gut.
I want to hear what's next for Ombraz. Maybe not like from like a product standpoint or anything. People can follow you on social with that, but obviously you guys are for those that don't know, you guys are do really good with giving back to environmental causes and stuff like that. What's like the next like big vision for Ombraz?
We've actually been like wanting to work on that this week, actually. So that's interesting you said that. I think like creating a company that's just like a really enjoyable place to like create and work from and collaborate with is like a big part of our agenda the next like couple of years as we build out a team. And we're it was almost like difficult to fathom having like employees a few years ago, because it's like, how, first off, how do we afford that, and second off is like, how do we delegate tasks that like only we know how to do and only we can theoretically do, and like letting that go, surrendering that, and then just like creating, like becoming a good leader, becoming an intelligent leader, becoming someone who like wants to help like everyone around you succeed, not only in like building and creating a business, but like building, creating like their own lives and their own like trajectories. I think that's a really, really important way to like, and like going to be a big approach from our end is like, how do we just make sure that everyone working with us is for like alongside us is like happy and, and invigorated and fulfilled.
Yeah, man, that's a good problem to have because it shows that you're confident that the company's just going to grow, and your focus is more about how to grow with integrity. But that's a fun thing to work with. I think it's interesting that you said like even like partner with, like even if like a company wants to collaborate with you or they're working with you, like it doesn't have to be like your employees. It's just like anyone that touches like Ombraz, like how do they just enjoy
Yeah,
that?
yeah, exactly, exactly. It's just like a ripple effect, you know.
For sure, for sure. Gotta tell you guys, I like the new style that came out. I'm gonna pick up a pair for sure.
No, we'll get you a pair.
The ones I have,
Which one? The
appreciate.
Teton?
Which one? Yeah,
Yeah,
is it
yeah,
the ones Nikolai's wearing?
I think the
yeah,
Teton will be nice on you.
Yeah.
the Teton. Yeah, yeah. I have I have the. Oh man, I don't remember the name. I think they're the
The
first ones.
Dolomite or
Yeah,
the
yeah.
classic?
The
I think
The
you do have the
classic.
classic, the
classic.
classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we
And
gotta get you pairs of Titans. Nikolai, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, like, aside from, I think, yeah, like building the team and like creating that environment, like echoing everything Jensen just said. And then I'd also just say, like, it's exciting. Like, we're about to plant our millionth tree this year or in the next like 3 months. And like continuing that, like, we're doing our entire, like, we're calculating our entire carbon footprint. We hired a third party to like audit. Um, our entire like carbon footprint of every like component that comes in, all the transportation, everything going out to customers. So we're really going to have like a data backed understanding of like our carbon footprint and really allow us ourselves to like set that standard and like publish that and like really like try to raise the bar across the industry about like transparency and actual commitment, because there is a ton of greenwashing that goes on. And like, like we want to just like, we've always just like wanted to do business the right way and like treat people the right way and like not just do things just for marketing, like do things because it's right and like just do business the right way. And I think like just continuing that as the organization grows and like as our budgets grow, we can just like use our dollars for more of like the right stuff and like doing things the right way. And like, I feel like as entrepreneurs, we have like a unique opportunity to like build a world that we actually want to live in and like have an impact, like an oversized impact. Um, so that's what we can do.
dude, I want to thank you for that because to spend money on having a third party come in and audit, it's it shows where you guys care, and first of all, it shows like that you actually, you're not just doing it for the marketing because you are bringing in like a third party versus you guys just doing it, right? And um, it just, I don't know. I thank you because I wish every brand I worked with, right? Apple and the company that makes my clothes, like I wish they were, spending more time focusing on that. So I mean, dude, that's so awesome. And you're right. You guys have you guys have this opportunity, and with opportunity comes responsibility, right? It's like if you're gonna have all these people working for you and part of the world's money flowing through your company, it's like you better use it right. So I really really respect that. Um,
I was gonna say if any like yeah, if any of the listeners, if any of your listeners, if like anyone ever, if you any of the brands you work with ever like are interested in that carbon like analysis, it's we like happy to make an intro. They're out of Chile and they're awesome. It's an awesome group of like really 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 intelligent people that we've been working with for the last 6 months on this.
that's
So yeah,
outstanding.
yeah, it took us a little bit to track this group down. So we'd love to like pass the torch and help someone out in that regard if they're ever interested.
I'll keep that in mind, man. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys' time. And Nikolai, I'm up north in Idaho, so when you drive north, man, give me a call. Maybe you can swing by for a few days.
Dude, I will. I'm in town for another like 3 weeks, 3 4 weeks, and then I'm out of here. But so if you also make it down south, come down and visit. It'd be a great time.
You'll be my first call.
All right.
Hey, thank you for watching today's episode. If you got something out of this, it would mean so much if you could just take a second and give us a rating on whatever platform you're watching it on. And it would mean so much to the world if you could just find one person that you think this message resonates with and you can share that with them. Thank you so much for your support. Looking forward to share the next episode with you.